Tacha Akide joins us via Zoom this morning. Thank you for joining us on Sunrise Daily. Well, this is a time for the protests. Good morning. Great to have you on the program. First, let's get your experience, really, because yesterday a lot of people were not sure if that protest was going to hold in Rivers State with the pronouncement of the governor. But incidentally, the governor actually came to that protest and addressed the protesters. So what was the experience for you?
First off, I have to applaud every youth that stepped out yesterday. It was massive. Like, it was really vast. Everybody came out and turned up. That's to say that we're really tired of the oppression. We're tired of the intimidation, and we need to speak up. The only thing we have is our voices, unarmed, and we have our voices, our placards, our cardboard papers. And really, it was great at the end of the day. Also, I would also want to applaud the governor. You won't blame him that much. You get me. In the states like Rivers State, you have to make sure that everything is peaceful. And it was peaceful. It was really a peaceful protest yesterday. It was vast. Everybody came out. It was massive. End of the day, it was a great experience.
Right. So from all indications, it appears as though the protests are not ending. Because, I mean, you still have people agitating for one thing or the other. The government has shifted ground time and again. In fact, the latest, with the dissolution of SARS, the announcement of SWAT, the fact that, you know, former SARS members are being called to Abuja to undergo psychological evaluation. I mean, I can go on, but it seems the protests are not ending. So what's the issue here?
Yes, it is not about introducing a new unit, SWAT. It's about reforming the Nigerian police force. It needs to be reformed. Our police officers need to be taken care of, adequate health care, education. You need to see the barracks where these police officers are in. They're really trying to work in a hard condition and then still able to protect lives. It's not easy to be a police officer. So what we're requesting for, what we're asking for is adequate reformation of the Nigerian police force. It isn't about introducing a new unit, special weapon and tactics. It isn't about that. It's about reforming. Every police officer needs to go to psychological evaluation. The barracks need to be reformed. They need to be paid good money, and they need to be paid on time. They need to be taken care of. Their children, good school, adequate health care. There are loads and loads of things. But first up, it needs to start with reforming the Nigerian police force. It's not about introducing a new unit. It's really not about that.
Well, you would, of course, you would be aware, of course, that government has already begun to take certain actions, some of which we showed you earlier. We might want to show you again. The fact that, of course, that disbandment has happened, a new unit has been formed, and then there are a number of activities that have already begun, certain laws. Yes, that's also part of the promise that has been made. Constitutional reforms, welfare of the police, compensation for victims and their families, and all those things. But then, as you know, there is the likelihood that those activities are going to take a little bit of time. The activities have begun. For instance, the Lagos State governor went to the presidents yesterday and came back with some results, and the state government in Lagos, for example, has already begun to take certain actions as well. So these actions, before they begin to bear fruit, will take a little bit of time. So what will it take to take the youths out of the streets, so to give government some time to at least begin to fulfill the promises?
At the moment, we're giving the government time. We're all in Nigeria. We hear promises. We need to see action being taken, legit action being taken. I understand that it's not going to happen overnight. There are certain procedures, there are certain stages to how all of this stuff can be achieved. But at the same time, it's promises we get to hear. We need to see action, actually. And trust me, the youth aren't leaving the street until we see action. We need to see that those police officers are brought to book from the lives that were lost. It could have been me. It could have been my cousin. It could have been anybody. Those officers need to be brought to book. The police force needs to be reformed. We need justice for the lives that has been lost. Reformation of the police force. So we're not leaving the streets anytime soon. I think so. I think we're not leaving the street anytime soon. We have our demands, and we need the government to start working on it.
Well, speaking of streets, if you go to Twitter streets, as some people call it, you'd realize that there's this, controversy about the protests, organic protests. It has been hijacked by certain people. There's some people trying to use this for, I don't know, political gains, personal gains, and what have you. And the question for a lot of people is, so what is this about, really? Who do we look to? At what point do we know if this is being hijacked or not?
It's not being hijacked. I think for once the youth have decided to come together. Every Nigerian said to come together and through off their certain differences, tribal differences, religious differences. We have just one voice, and we're all saying the same thing. Police brutality needs to end. And how do you end that? By reforming the Nigerian police force. That is it. We can't end, or police brutality cannot end if these police officers aren't adequately taken care of.
Okay, now
it's all of Nigerian youths, and it's all of us with just one voice. We're all saying the same thing. Our message is the same. It's the same. We're saying the same thing. Everyone is saying the same thing.
Right. So for how long more will these protests last? The coming week? We're
looking up to the government. We're looking up to the government. It all lies in the hands of the government. It's not about introducing SWAT. There's a hashtag ongoing, end SWAT. It's not about introducing SWAT. We're looking up to the government. What are you doing? How are you starting to do it? Is it ongoing? Are we seeing results that it's ongoing? We don't want to hear promises. That's all we ever hear. Promises. I'm going to do this. I will do this. We need to see these things getting done.
So basically you're saying that this protest can last for weeks, months, depending on the government.
I'm not saying anything. We're all just watching. We're really all just watching. I had to fly down to Port Harcourt because I really I understand how important this is to every Nigerian youth. And here's the reason why I've been using my platform to amplify this. Because it is important to me. It is important to this generation. It is important to the next generation to come.
Well, just a quick one, Tacha. A number of people are wondering, okay,
yes,
the youths are the leaders of today, not just tomorrow, but today leading to tomorrow. So while the youths are looking up to the government, very quick one here, are there chances that we'll get some of these youths also vie for political office so that they can take over and make appropriate changes suitable for them?
Most definitely. Most definitely. In my high school, I remember singing, parents, listen to your children. We are the leaders of tomorrow. What am I leading in 2020?
Okay.
Yeah, so we're really ready to take over and see that these changes, we do them significantly.
Okay. All right, well, thank you very much for your time this morning, Tacha Akide, one of the youths on the forefront of the NSAS protests in Port Harcourt.
Every youth is at the forefront. Every youth is at the forefront.
All right, most certainly. Thank you so much for your time. We're back in a moment to continue this conversation. Please stay with us.